Republicans insist that the more we spend, the worse it's going to get. Bill Hagerty, the Republican senator from Tennessee, is in that camp. He joins us right now. So, Senator, we're at a crossroads here. Each party has a very different idea on how to deal with inflation. And you say one way not to deal with it is the very spending package the president is pushing, right?
Indeed, Neil. One party needs to live in reality. And in fact, if you talk about throwing more fuel on the fire that the Democrats have created, we're going to see this inflation that's already running at a massive rate, record rates that we haven't seen in 39 years. They're talking about putting more fuel on the fire. You mentioned the $5 trillion spending package that's hitting a brick wall right here in the Senate. That would be inherently inflationary. If you look at the policies that the Biden administration has put forward, of course they're not going to mention the policies that have driven inflation. They're going to pick on industries like the one you just highlighted in meat. But
so you don't think that these charges, and it really began much earlier than this, going after the meat industry earlier on with the run-up in gas and oil prices, that there might be collusion. They wanted that investigated. They've seen it in other areas where they're blaming other factors. You don't think any of those investigations weren't much mentioned?
Well, deflection seems to be the art of the deal with this administration, whether it's Afghanistan trying to deflect blame there, or in this case, inflation. If you look at the policies of the Biden administration, that's been the greatest cause. They killed our energy independence. They've driven gas and oil prices through the roof. If you look at that, every good in America has to be transported in some way, Neil. I talked about this back in the spring. They suggested that inflation was transitory. I said, indeed, it's not, because the policies that the Biden administration have put in place are inherently inflationary, and they're structurally inflationary. And that's
so,
what
Senator,
we're seeing.
Could I ask you this
today.
then? If spending isn't going to deal with this problem, in fact, you argue it's going to make things worse. Many agree with you. The only solution is for the Federal Reserve to deal with it aggressively on its own, and that would include some rate hikes that it's already spelled out are coming. Do you agree with what the Fed is about to do?
Well, I've been suggesting that the Fed needs to curtail the balance sheet expansion for some time. They've actually accelerated that. They've moved that up another quarter, so that's going to come to an end in March. I think that's the first step that needs to be underway. They're also signaling rate increases. It's not surprising because of the inflation that's been set off.
All right, got it. Senator, thank you very much. The accelerating